When India and the USA come together, or when Modi and Biden come together, it seems there are some who lose their sleep. And China, Pakistan, and of course, the self-styled champion of democracy, George Soros, are among them. So, how jealous is China? How scared is Pakistan? How depressed is George Soros? And how happy should the rest of the world be when India and America dance together? So, before talking about Pakistan, China and George Soros, let's watch some of the highlights from Modi's address to the joint session of the US Congress.
First visited the US as a Prime Minister. India was the 10th largest economy in the world. Today, India is the 5th largest economy. India will be the 3rd largest economy soon. We are focusing on infrastructure development. We have given nearly 40 million homes to provide shelter to over 150 million people. That is nearly 6 times the population of Australia. We run a national health insurance program that ensures free medical treatment for about 500 million people. That is greater than the population of South America. We took banking to the unbanked with the world's largest financial inclusion drive. Nearly 500 million people benefited. This is close to the population of North America. We have worked on building Digital India. Today, there are more than 850 million smartphones and internet users in the country. This is more than the population of Europe. We have over 2,500 political parties. About 20 different parties govern various states of India. We have 22 official languages, thousands of dialects, and yet we speak in one voice. Every 100 miles, our cuisine changes from dosa to aloo paratha and from Srikhand to Sandesh. We enjoy all of this. We are home to all faiths in the world, and we celebrate all of them. In India, diversity is a natural way of life. We believe, Mata Bhumihi Putro Aham Prithviya. This means the earth is our mother and we are her children. We became the only G20 country to meet its Paris commitment. We made renewables account for over 40% of our energy sources, 9 years ahead of the target of 2030. In the evolution of the democratic spirit, India is the mother of democracy. Millennia ago, our oldest scripture said, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. It means the truth is one, but the wise express it in a different ways. Now, the US is the oldest and India the largest democracy.
So to start with, I'm not too sure if the USA, a country that I have earlier described as a colonial experiment on stolen land, deserves the kind of respect that it was given by the Indian Prime Minister. But one thing seems clear. India, a civilizational nation, deserves far more respect and gratitude than what it receives from the global community. But probably one can understand why the Indian Prime Minister had to use some sugar-coated words for the USA. Well, the colonial criminal state is still a superpower, and in order to create a more balanced, more decolonized, multipolar world, India is playing a diplomatic masterstroke. Yes, India, as the voice of the oppressed, colonized and the global south, needs to engage with, or at times probably even diplomatically praise, the Western colonial criminal states as they continue to hold a lot of power. But when the Prime Minister of India spoke the powerful and impactful words in the heart of the USA, there was one country that was probably feeling very insecure and jealous, and that is China. And those insecurities and jealousy can be easily observed by anyone who reads these articles in the Global Times, a Chinese state-affiliated media outlet. Take a look at this one. It says that Washington hopes to use India against China and Russia. The article claims that although the USA is enticing India's confrontation with China in border issues, India knows it too well that if it has a clash with China, the US will not come to its rescue. It also adds, India is too proud and ambitious to give up its major power dream. And this article mentions that a proud India neither wants to see China's rise nor continuous hegemony by the USA. And in this article, the fear that India might join the US-led NATO Plus can be observed. And take a look at this illustration published by the Chinese state-affiliated media outlet that clearly indicates that the USA wants China and India to fight. Back in Pakistan, the looming bankruptcy and anarchy has not stopped the country's desperation to deceitfully label India as an enemy of Muslims, even when many Muslims, including Shias and Ahmadis, feel unsafe and traumatized due to the persecution and oppression that they face in Pakistan. As expected, multiple articles in the Pakistani media preferred to highlight that Democrats urged US President Joe Biden to raise human rights issues with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi during his visit to Washington, while ignoring that in the joint statement from the United States and India, it was clearly mentioned that the two leaders called for concerted action against all UN-listed terrorist groups, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Not only that, the joint statement also mentions that Modi and Biden strongly condemned cross-border terrorism, the use of terrorist proxies, and called on Pakistan to take immediate action to ensure that no territory under its control is used for launching terrorist attacks. They called for the perpetrators of the 26/11 Mumbai and Pathankot attacks to be brought to justice. As far as George Soros is concerned, please try to understand the nightmarish situation he could be facing right now. After all, on the one hand, we have this man who has openly doubted the democratic credentials of India's ruling government, and on the other hand, the government that he supports in the USA laid a red carpet for Modi, who according to him is not even a Democrat. Seeing Modi's address to the joint session of the US Congress could possibly be one of the worst moments of his life. But what is possibly a nightmare for George Soros is a blessing for others. After all, the intention to initiate the process to open 2 new consulates in India in the cities of Bengaluru and Ahmedabad, $400 million to establish a collaborative engineering center in India, announcement by Micron Technology to invest up to $825 million to build a new semiconductor assembly and test facility in India, the signing of an MOU for the manufacture of GEF-414 jet engines in India, India's signing of the Artemis Accords, which advance a common vision of space exploration for the benefit of all humankind, and India's plans to procure General Atomics MQ-9B HALE UAVs. I mean, the future seems quite exciting for India and quite scary for India's enemies. See you again.